Hello, guys. Welcome to another interview with one of our FTMO traders. And today we're having Sajith from Qatar. Hi, Sajith. How are you
How you
doing?
doing? I'm good, Vic. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm very much all right. So, guys, for those of you who are watching us for the first time, FTMO is a proprietary trading firm, and upon passing our evaluation process, you get to manage up to a $200,000 FTMO account, from which you can withdraw, of course, up to 90% of your profits. So, Sajid here, one of our FTMO traders. I've been checking your history with us, and I saw that you've been with us actually for quite some time. You started your first challenge back in March 2021, so that's gonna be 3 years in a couple of months.
Oh yeah, I started. Yeah, I've been trading actually for three and a half years now. So yeah, then a few years back I got to know about FTMO. Then yeah, I had quite challenges, and I had also a 10K account. I think I made a withdrawal.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm kind of.
that was actually your second FTMO challenge because you passed right the second challenge and you made it to the FTMO account on which you have made almost $9,000. So you were successful quite quickly. So what is the trading history before you actually started trading with us? So you said you've been trading for about 3.5 years. So
Oh
how did it
yeah.
start?
So yeah, I came across a YouTube video. Someone was trading a binary option on YouTube. Yeah.
Okay.
So this guy used to go live. So that's how I get interested in trading. I didn't know anything about it then back then. So by the way, I'm a personal trainer. I'm still a personal trainer, and the trading was on the side only. I'm still full time. I have a full time job as a personal trainer.
Okay.
Um, uh, yeah, that's how I got started by by this video. Then after that, yeah, I got into education too. I got interested, and I found I was looking for more education about it to learn more how to trade. And then I get into forex trading.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I get to know about the MT4 and stuff like that. And then, of course, yeah, always go with the signal. Yeah. So back then it was not even now there are signal groups and stuff like that. So that's how I get started. Uh, but it didn't really go well. So I've been just switching mentor to mentor,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
but nothing really worked out. I think most of them not really successful traders, so they didn't really go well.
Okay, so
Also,
you were like the typical newbie trader who saw a video on the internet uh,
yeah,
about binary option as well. So I guess quite fast you found out what binary options really are. So then you switched to forex and you just started to go from one mentor to another one, and you really weren't seeing much success back then.
no, I wasn't. I didn't see much of success back then. I don't really make any profit though. So also, I've been using my personal account, just a small money I'm putting in, and I just always blow it off.
Oh, so
You know,
you started
taking
right away
signal.
with
I did.
the life account with real money.
Uh, I was watching it like for a month, the buy option, and then yeah, I put some money into the account. And then I just want to trade with him. So he used to do live trading on the binary option, but it didn't really go well. Just always a loss. Uh, yeah, and then also I didn't know what's risk management and all of that. Then it took me like 6 months to get to know much about trading. What is I mean the rules and the plans and the strategies, even the risk management, even how to calculate the lot sizes, the risk.
Uh-huh. Okay, how much
Uh,
time were you devoting to learning how to properly trade, right? Was it like every day or was it like on the weekends?
well, no, I was really got interested. I would just do like 3 4 hours a day, every
Okay.
single day.
Okay, so you were really
Yeah,
devoted then. Okay.
I was like really attached to it. I just loved it. I even still now I love the chart. I love to analyze. I love to play straight. Uh, it just it, it's just I love it. I love to do it. So I put so much time into this. even though I work as a full-time personal trainer, but still I keep my alerts on my phone. So when the alert comes on, then I look at the chart on the high time frame. Yeah, I look for a setup. If there is one, I will just put on a trade. Of course, I have a plan. I have set rules which I follow. Um, so mentor-wise, I don't really stick to anyone because nowadays everybody mostly they're using SMC smart money concept, uh, but just slightly different one to another. But it works. It works well. But I don't use anymore the lower time frames and stuff like that, and it's just only high time frame I'm starting to use. It's
Mm-hmm.
working really good. Um, so yeah, that's how I started back then. Yeah.
Okay. So, also, I think that is really the only way you can actually become successful in this business and in any business, really, right? You really gotta have the passion. You really gotta enjoy the process, right? A lot of people are in trading just for the outcome, just for the money, right? Everybody just sees the profits, the money, and they don't really enjoy trading, right? They're not really interested on what is happening in the background. They just want the money. They just want the money. And I think with this sort of approach, you're never really, have the chance to really make it, right? You gotta find a passion in trading. So that's obviously what happened in your case.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I was attracted to money, right? That was a first attraction.
Yeah, it usually
But
is
when
with
I
everyone,
came,
yeah.
yeah. But when I took these courses from the mentors, they explain how it really works. Then I understand. Okay, but nowadays I don't even really look how much I'm making. I just look by the percentage. So I just go with the percentage. Then I need this many hours I need to make the risk reward system, right? This 20% I'm looking to make, not the amount of money I'm looking to make. And also, whenever I look into the money that I make, the profit or losses running on the P&L, that's really always still it affects me when I look at it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to avoid to look at the profit and the losses that I'm running because when you see the money, right, that's always distracts you. But now I have tested my strategy and it's really worked well. It also has a good result. I have tested it like for 6 months on a demo account. Of course, I back tested it. I forward tested it on a demo. It really worked well. So I'm just following my age. I'm trusting my age,
Mm-hmm.
not really following the money.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, all I want to see is the setup plays out. My prediction goes well. That's all I want to see.
Okay,
So
I
the
see.
money part is coming as
As a
what would you
bonus.
say? Yeah, it's a bonus. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, nice, well
yeah.
said.
It's just a byproduct. Yeah.
Also, what I wanted to ask about is that when exactly do you think the change from not being really successful and not being profitable happened, right? From this stage when you were not really making it, and to the one where you actually became profitable, right? So you said when you started with the mentors, you really were not seeing much success, and that changed later on. So what was the thing that changed it? Was it really that devotion you had to learning about trading and all the time you had to put in, right? So you pretty much had to learn it yourself, or was it something else?
Well, yeah. So this what happened, right? So back then I didn't have much money to pay for expensive mentors, of course. So I was having a job, but I was earning enough much to just pay a big amount of fees for the
Mm-hmm.
mentors. Of course, that's worth it. I should have spent it, but I didn't have back then. And also from the beginning, I was losing money, so it's back of my mind like I shouldn't be putting so much money into this. That's back then, like when I was starting. Uh, but I realized all of these mentors, who were selling like cheaper calls, cheap rate courses. They are they're just for the money,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't really teach about the mindset, the psychology, the risk management, all of that. They just they just say, okay, buy there, sell here. They don't really go into depth to teach us what you really need to do, what you can
Okay.
expect from the market. So after all of that, then I came across a mentor, but he wasn't my mentor. Like I was following him on the YouTube and the Instagram. His name is replicable. I think he used to work in Ashra Effects before, but not anymore, I guess. Yeah, it's not anymore. He's working with them. So I saw him like he's a calm guy. So he's a mentor in I think he's doing a wider group. His name is replicable. So I watched his videos. He posted 3 videos on the YouTube channel, but he looks legit. The way he explains things, the way he teach his students. I like the way this. I followed him for a couple. I follow him like all the videos I watched them, and I learned a lot. So he talked about most of the time the mindset of psychology, which I really like,
Mm-hmm.
because this is the mindset you should have to trade.
Yeah, that's exactly following to my next question. So, how did your psychology evolve from when you started versus where you're now? Because um, when it comes to the technicals and the fundamentals, right? Everybody can sort of learn that, right? It's the same for everybody. But when it comes to psychology, I think the progress is different with every single trader, right? How did their psychology evolve from? Because everybody starts at a different point. Everybody has a different psychology. So how it was in your case, how would you compare your psychological approach now versus, let's say, 3 years back?
So psychology has changed a lot. So back then, when I lose a trade, I can't. I needed to get it back. Then I go into overtrade.
Okay.
I can't accept a loser when I
Okay.
go in a loss. Then I want to get it back, or I would remove my stop loss. Even that shouldn't be allowed, but I did back then
Okay. So I guess
because of the
there was a
losses.
lot of
Right?
over trading as well.
Yeah, a lot of overtrading I did back then. Until I watched this video of research ball on YouTube. That's when I totally understand I shouldn't be doing all of this. And it took me time, even like the habit has been built up in me. So I've been doing that for like for for months, I think. Yeah, for a few months I've been doing. So that habit, and also I started with my starting wasn't really good,
Mm-hmm.
and then yeah, if I went to a good mentor at the beginning, I would have done better. But the habit was built up. So back then, it was just kind of sticking to me. Then it took me time to change, and also I go off the chart for like 3 months to create a new habit, to create a new lifestyle, and
Okay.
follow and just be disciplined. Then I told myself, okay, this is what I have to do to be become a profitable trader.
So did you become disciplined in other parts of your life as well?
Yes, I did. It did involve many things too. Yeah, like it's just I think if someone disciplined in their life, like at the beginning, right, they would do better in everything. It's just the lifestyle you live in. If you're a disciplined person, and that discipline can get better in anything that you do, business or trading or study or anything. Even you go to the gym, you're going to be disciplined because you are a disciplined person. Because I wasn't one.
Of
I was
course.
like 50-50, right? But when I came into trading, I have changed my lifestyle. I learned a lot. I become more disciplined person. So that's how I improved uh, my mindset towards trading.
Uh-huh. All right. Now, before we get to see actually how you trade before you're gonna share your trades, I'd like to start talk a little more about trading. So, would you consider yourself as a technical or rather a fundamental trader, or do you use best of the both worlds?
So I don't use much of fundamentals. It's for me. It's just too much fundamental. But I use mostly. I'm a technical trader.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I do just the technical analysis, not the fundamental. Actually, I'm scared of news stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to stay away from some of the news like the FOMC or the NFB, something like that. Yeah, but I
Uh-huh.
like the CPI for sure. Yeah,
Uh-huh. Right.
because the CPI works really. It works well with my strategy. It did in the past. I have tested like 6 months. It didn't really work. But the FOMC and the NFB is not really going well, and some of the other news as well.
Mm-hmm.
I used to stay away from them, but I stick to most of the time the technical analysis. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that you trade mostly the euro dollar pair. So
Oh yeah.
is that the pair that you really are trying to focus at, and you're not really trading the other assets, or was it just recently or was it just like
Uh,
a random thing that this month the USD pair felt good for you?
it's not like that. So that's what I had learned. So actually, I put together a strategy myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I learning so many things from everywhere. Finally, I came up with one method for myself. So but I take so much strategies from everybody. Like I have, so for example, Euro USD has some levels that is really respect. Actually, I picked up from ICT. Yeah, he has so much videos on YouTube and that. And then of course I use a structure and I use order blocks
Uh-huh.
and I use order flow and the sessions. Yeah, these are my main things, and also my most of the execution times on the 5 minute. Uh, I don't think anybody using this method what I use, but they will use like the SMC or they would use the levels. But I just kind of put together and then came with an idea and I tested it. It worked, and I'm using it.
Okay, so that's interesting. All right, so let's take a look at how you trade. All right, here we are back, and Sajith has Euro USD trade. I think this was one of the most profitable ones that you had on your FTMO account. So how much did this one score in your favor?
So that was I call 1 to 5 hour. It was like 2,600 something.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we can see that the chart you're using is quite fresh, quite clear. So it doesn't seem like you would be using too many indicators. So yeah,
Uh,
if you could give us a little tour on how do you actually train, how do you actually use the platform, and how did you decide when to entry and when to exit this particular position?
oh yeah. So let's get on with it. So this is the chart I use. I chose not to use any indicator, just except these session indicators that often just telling you when the session start and end and what sessions are. And also I use them for liquidity. So there's no indicators on it, just the levels only. So I got these 50 levels, 80, and then 20 levels, and the 0 levels, 100 levels. So these are levels I pick up from my CT, of course. And yeah, I follow the structure. Structure is the main thing I use to look for. So I follow the structure on the 1 hour and of course on the higher time frame. So here, so what we see here, there was a break of structure here. So so here's started. It's on the 15 minute. I don't really look into 15 minute, but that could be a clean break of structure on the 15 minute. But there was a momentum came down from, so price was running up and then and keep going and going. So from it started from here, so somehow the price had to get back into the discount for another buys, right? So yeah, I always buy in a premium and then sorry, I always buy in a discount and always sell from the premium. If the price is not on discount, I don't really buy it. I really wait for the price to come down to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So when the price was consolidating here, and it just gave this a sign for me. So for the sell. So here is another breaker structure. So 1, 2 for me. These are not really a. So we are still as a counter trend trade. It's not a pro trend. Pro trend is a bullish. So it's not really a breaker structure, but just the first sign for the reversal. So this is what happened. So on this day, and also I use these levels and to see some rejections from there. If the 1 hour, 4 hour rejecting a level, which means the price is looking to turn around. That's my prediction with this level. That's how I use them. Also, price move level to level all the time. That's why I like trading Euro USD, and also it really works well on this one.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a trade that I put on Friday. It was a clean setup. So you see, we had a one breaker structure, and then price was consolidating, building liquidity, and we have these equals, and also target the equal lows. So we have a liquidity here to be clean. So if the price is about, in my view, if the price want to go up, they have to come down to take out these lows. Of course, it can go up and up, but it just gave a sign, gave confirmation what I was looking for to take a trade or to look for a trade, and then that's how I caught this trade, a beautiful trade. So it was rejecting at this level, and then price came back. Of course, I caught a trade as well here. I'm not here to talk about that now, so I'm going to just show you this trade here. So this is the 1 hour chart I'm really looking at. So we have a breaker structure, and we have also a clean order block here. So we have a clean order block on the 1 hour, and then I went to do a lower time frame to define the order block to get a smaller stop loss. Of course, it's not too small. It's 15 pips still with a 5 minute. So I see this candle here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the candle for me to put an order on. And also there was the Asia high, and I was expecting the price to come spike up, take out the Asia high, and then just run below. And also I was targeting the low of the other sessions, the New York session. And when the price came up, and then took my order, and then just went down to my TP, and that's why I TP'd out. That was a 125.7 R. Was a beautiful trade. I usually go for 123, but this setup was clean and then had a good momentum.
Mm-hmm.
Price was kind of consolidating on the Asia, and then on the Frankfurt, on the London Open. Yeah, it took out the liquidity about from the Asia, and then just went down.
Okay, that's by the
Yeah,
way, that's
that
another
was.
thing. I saw that you are trading pretty much during the whole day. You're not trading only in one particular session. So, but do you have like a favorite session, for example, a London session, or do you really just go to the trade whenever you see the opportunity, regardless what session is usually currently on?
So I usually look for trade mostly in London session. I don't really trade. I don't look trade on the Asia. Of course, I'm sleeping at that time, but my time is the London and the New York session. And when I put on trade, I let the trade hit my stop loss or my TP.
Mm-hmm.
I don't trail stop loss. I don't want to be looking into the chart what the trade is doing. So when there's a setup, I get in the trade. Yeah, and then let it play out.
Okay, so
Either
you just
TP
set it,
or
then forget
stop
it,
loss.
and then you'll just see whether
Yeah,
your stop loss and or take profit was hit.
yeah,
Do you place
yeah,
them like
yeah.
at the same time, or do you wait, let's say, for a bit to see how the trade really is going on, and set the take profit a little later? Because some traders do that, right? They set the firm stop loss, but they wait for how the price is gonna unravel, and only afterwards they set a appropriate take profit. So how do you do it in your case?
So for me, risk reward system is the main thing. If there's a trade less than 3R, 3 risk reward,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm not gonna take it because my success rate is about 50 percentage, less
Uh-huh.
than 50. But by taking trade profit after 1 to 3, it has given me a good result,
Mm-hmm.
a profitable result. So
Okay.
that's why I never. So my minimum, I want to get 1 to 3 Of course, I will look for a trade. If I will look for, I'll look at the chart, and if there is liquidity available at my TP level, of course, I would continue to trade. If not, I don't get any.
Okay. How do you calculate the stop loss? Do you like risk always like 1% of the account,
Uh,
or do you calculate in a different way?
so I go for half a percentage only.
Uh-huh.
So there's an app on the phone, or I just go to a website. There's always, or I know how to calculate. I mean, yeah, just
Yeah.
by percentage. Yeah,
Yeah, but you
yeah. So
calculate it from the percentage
I
of the
check.
account size.
Yeah, yeah. I take a half a percentage, and then I check how many people my SL stop loss,
Mm-hmm.
and then I divide it.
Yeah,
I divide and get the lot size
of
and put it on.
course. And then when
Yeah,
it comes to
yeah.
the take profit, do you always set it as a ratio compared to the stop loss, right? Are you like, okay, I've set my stop loss, now the take profit has to be like, let's say if you want to go for a risk reward 3-1, reward to risk 3-1. Do you always
Hmm.
set the take profit like 3 times as much as the stop loss, or do you calculate the profit or the size of the take profit in a different way?
No, 3 times of my stop loss. Yeah,
Okay, so plain and simple like
yeah.
that.
So it depends. Sometimes I would go for 1 to 5, 1 to 6. It also sometimes depends on the momentum.
Mm-hmm.
If the trade plays out very fast, like let's say I have time during the London session. On the New York session, I usually at work. Right after London session, I usually go to work. So I have time. So if I have time, and then if I look at the chart, if the trade is looking good, then I would target the liquidity areas. Yeah.
Okay, I see. So let's
So
say in the morning you
if
set it to 3-1, then you take a look at the trade in a couple of hours. You see, okay, the price is evolving pretty fast in your favor. You can adjust the take profit to, let's say, not 3-1, but 4 or 5-1.
yeah, by trailing my stop loss as well. Yeah,
Oh, you're
I will
trailing
go
your stop
to.
loss as well. You're
Yeah,
keeping it lower, I assume.
if I'm moving my TP, the target, then I'm going to trail the stop loss.
Okay, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
but if I
I saw that.
sometimes I just set and forget with 1 to 3.
Uh-huh.
I would just set and forget. That's when I don't have any time. And if it's a clean setup, I will just put a trade on, limit on, and then
Mm-hmm.
and then just let it 1 to 3.
Okay. Another thing I wanted to ask about is that I saw that you have a very large reward to risk ratio, right? I mean, in your case, in your last FTMO account where you made the profit that we actually haven't mentioned. That's interesting. So the profit on our last FTMO account was about $17,500, I believe, something like that in that area. About $17,000, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that was
All
seven and a
right.
half percentage. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
that was a good one.
I saw that that your risk reward was about sorry again, reward to risk was about 4.5, so really high. And naturally, if you're keeping a reward to risk which is that high, the win rate is usually lower, right? I mean, it comes naturally. You're risking, so little for
Hmm.
so much of potential profit. So usually you're probably gonna lose more often than you're gonna win. So in your case, I think the win rate was about 30%, something like that. But with the right risk to reward, of course, you're gonna be profitable. But what I'm trying to ask is, do you think this strategy, where you,
Hmm.
even though you're profitable, you are still losing more than winning, right? Like you lose
Hmm.
more trades than you win, but of course the ones that you win are much bigger. Do you think it is like psychologically demanding to you because you know that you're losing a lot of trades? Do you think having this approach is really tough for the psychology because you lose quite often?
Yeah, that affects me there, but still, I trust my plan. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I have tested, and it really worked well. That's how I passed the challenge. That's how I passed the verification, and it really worked along. So I, ha- I so first few days. of the funded account, I was losing first few days. I was like down to 3%. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that still that's affect me a little, but still I go with my plan. I trust my plan.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you really
I'll,
got to
I'll,
keep
I'll,
the
I'll
emotions aside and trust your plan,
yeah,
and eventually it's
yeah,
gonna work. Oh,
yeah. It did. It works. It works again and again and again. Yeah. So this reward to risk ratio is one helping me to get back. So I take three losses in a row. So only one, is gonna get me back into break even.
mm-hmm. I see. All right. So, well, you've been mentioning that you've been losing for the first couple of days. So now I think it's the right time to go to your econometrics and check some of the stats that you had. All right, and here we are in Sajith's econometrics. And as we can see, it wasn't really always a smooth ride, as we can judge from the balance curve, because the start, I assume, wasn't exactly as you would hope it to be. So, yeah, could you just give us a little tour on of what exactly happened there?
Yeah. So I took a couple of trades. First few days didn't really go well. That was like first 4 days. So actually, it was really pain because I got the account on. I started the account on like a Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
and then Thursday and Friday I got losses. That was four trades, two trades on each day. I had setups, but it didn't really go well, so I got stop loss. And then the next week starts, and I have a good few trades, and then went up. So my risk reward is good, better. So I recovered back. So I was down here about 3%,
Uh-huh.
and then I came back up. I was 1.5% in profit, and then I got a couple of losses again. But still, I was still sticking to my plan. This is my plan. I have tested over and over again, and I was telling myself it did work and it will work. So that was the only thing that was holding me back.
Uh-huh. Okay.
To not to do anything stupid or just to get in a random trade or to overtrade. So
Okay.
I had this
So
plan. Yeah,
yeah, just keeping sticking to your plan. So even though you were at loss of almost 4% or $4,000 if we want to talk in money, you were not really panicking. I mean, I guess that you have back tested the strategy, right? So you knew that if you're gonna stick to it, eventually it's gonna get better.
yeah, yeah. So I never had like trades in a row, like many trades, but there was like 3, 4 trades in a row. But I was testing it, and also when I was forward testing, and also when I was doing the challenge and the verification. I never had like 5, 6 trades in a row on losses. So it's always like 2 losses, 1 win, or 3 losses, 1 win, and that always is quickly recovers back because it's 1 to 3. So that's what happened here. So I had like since all the trades are only like half percentage risk. So I have there we go. I have lost few trades and then get into that kind of
Mm-hmm.
drawdown, and then I got back very fast,
Okay.
just because of my risk reward system.
Right.
Yeah.
So well, I guess thanks to the fact that you have back tested the strategy,
Hmm.
you were not really, you were not really feeling uncomfortable because you knew that if you're gonna stick to it, it's gonna
Hmm.
go well. So yeah, I would just like to point out that I think this is exactly how it should be, right? Having
Yeah.
a proper backtested plan, and even though if you're not gonna necessarily be always in profit, if the plan is
Yeah.
backtested and you're not gonna do some stupid decisions, you're gonna stick to the plan
Hmm.
that is tested.
Hmm.
Eventually, you're gonna be profitable. So I just wanted to point that out because that is exactly how it should be, in my opinion. So yeah, well done there.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Vijay.
All right.
Yeah, and then on it just flew. I mean, still, I mean, I was feeling the same. It didn't really. That's the thing. Like, you shouldn't be celebrating too much, or you shouldn't be too much. You shouldn't be too much happy because you want to trade or you want few trades. That could really affect you because when you get in a loss, then makes you overtrade because you want to get back to where you were.
Mm-hmm.
So I was keeping my emotions either good or bad. I was
Okay.
it was like it was just I was just having the same feeling on both for both, either win or losses.
Yeah, just keeping the
Of course, the
emotion
win.
neutral, right? Not
Yeah,
celebrating
yeah,
too much and not being depressed too much either.
yeah. That's the only thing. The main thing can hold traders back to be not to be profitable. Just the emotions. That's the biggest part to master. Yeah,
Okay, I think also probably the toughest one, right?
yeah. It is. It is. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is.
All right. Now, if you could scroll down a little so we can see the rest of our stats. So here we can see that you had plenty of space in both max daily loss limit and max loss limit, especially with the max loss limit, right? I mean, you have a $100,000 FTMO account, and
Hmm.
here we have the max loss of 10%, or in other words, $10,000, and you didn't need to use more than 3.5%, $3,349. So that is really nice. And also, what I noticed, if you scroll all the way down to the overview of the stats, I noticed that you were mostly buying, right? Yeah, here we see you traded a lot of Euro USD, and
Right.
then there was some Aussie pair as well. But your buys were much more profitable than your shorts. So do you think
Yeah.
there is a reason for that?
Uh, Actually, yeah. So euro dollar, like I told you, on the high time frame, it's a bullish market, right? So right now it's turned around, so
Mm-hmm.
it's going bull.
Yeah,
So
it,
euro
it
being
hit the
stronger.
parity like a couple of months ago, but now the euro is coming back up. I think now it's
Yeah,
about 1.054, something like that. Not really sure, but yeah,
yeah,
it came up like 10% since in September, I think. So yeah, it is a
yeah.
bullish market right now. That's for sure.
So that's why. So my buy, I had a good buy. So I held the buy even. Um, uh, I was I was moving my trailing my stop loss on this one because I know the buy is the pro move. So the counter trend was a short. So I after that short, I got a nice buy trade. That's how that's why it's showing a really big profit on the buy side. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so it is
But
just.
still, the plan is plan. The strategy is strategy. The same thing.
Mhm.
Either buy or sell side. It's just gonna work out the same.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
but
just
I
because of
made a
the
good profit on the buy.
it's just because of the current market conditions, right? If you were
Yeah,
trading
yeah,
the same USD a couple of months ago, your shorts would be, of course, more profitable.
yeah. Of course.
Now,
Yeah, yeah.
also, I'd like to
Definitely.
ask. I'm not sure if I have asked this question before, but anyway. So now you're focusing on Euro USD. So for how long have you been trading mostly Euro USD?
So I've been trading about 8 9 months Euro USD.
Oh, okay. So really,
Yeah, and
here and there you trade something else, but Euro USD remains as your main focus.
yes, yes, it is. Yeah, and also every pair has kind of its own way of moving, and also the times. So when you stick to just one pair, you can learn more about that pair behavior of the pair.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's why I like sticking to just one pair. AUD I took it just moved the same as the Euro USD, but I wasn't really feeling much comfortable with it. But it works well. I use the same strategy on both, but my main pair is the Euro USD. Yeah, if there is no nothing clean and looking clean on Euro USD, I will look on AUD USD.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what I'm trying to tell you is just that one pair would be really good enough to trade to become to be a profitable trader. Just one pair will be enough. I would say if you study the pair and if you use a good risk reward system and good rule, yeah, that could end up in good profit.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that's actually something that we certainly do not hear for the first time. This is something that is common among successful traders that they really master one or a couple of pairs, couple of assets, couple of markets
Hmm.
that they really learn to master, and thanks to that, they become profitable, right? I mean, it doesn't really make sense to try trade over like 10, 15 different markets, right? Because you will never get the amount of knowledge you can get if you focus just on one or two or three assets. So yeah, that's just another confirmation that this is probably the way to go.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, because I used to trade many pairs before back in the days, but it didn't really work out well. The reason, like, when you lose on a pair, then you just right away you're gonna jump into another pair and look for the trade. And you didn't watch that pair, you didn't watch that pair for a long time, and then suddenly when you just take a couple of losses and you're jumping into another pair, it doesn't make any sense. And then all of a sudden it's gonna look like there's a setup presenting, but it's not. But when you just look into one pair, then you know about the pair really well.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it moves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree. Okay,
Yeah.
so now we've been talking about the past. Let's now talk about the future for a bit. And finally, in the last part of our interview, let's spend a couple of minutes and discuss your plans for the future. So you now have been trading for 3.5 years. So and you're still keeping your main job. So do you think does this system really, do you find it convenient? Do you still plan on having a main job and trading aside, or do you have the intention of going full time, somewhere in the future?
So yeah. So my job is it's now I'm a full time personal trainer, but anytime I could switch to a part time personal trainer because
Okay.
it's always booked by sessions. But I would always wanted to have a job while trading. That's because when you're just trading, when you're just depending on trading, of course you're going to be trading for money only. So that's really bad for my psychology because I haven't experienced, but I heard from many people it happens. Um, when you just solely like having income only from trading, then you're going to be just trading for money.
Uh huh.
So when I have a side income, so I don't have to really fully depend on trading. Of course, that's going to pay me as well on the side. But I prefer to have a job, full-time job, or even part-time job while I'm trading. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting because we don't hear that too often. But yeah, that's a very good point. If you switch from being a part-time trader to the full-time trader, right? A lot of people can see only the positive side of it. But that is a very good point that once you are a full-time trader, you really are pressured to be profitable, right? You really
yeah,
have to make profits. And I think that is a pretty big switch in the psychology, right? Because from all of a sudden, it's not only a hobby that can make you some money on the side, it is really your job and you really gotta make the money. So that's a very good point.
yeah. Thank you.
All right. So, and I also imagine that being a personal trader, being a personal trainer, not trader, I assume you enjoy it as well, right? So that's why you want to keep on doing it.
Yeah, yeah. I've been doing this all my life, so I really love lifting and helping people on with the fitness goals.
Right.
Um, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, yeah, no worries. So,
Uh,
you are now trading, well, with us. So, are you planning to get on and try to get the max capital allocation, $400,000? Or is $100,000 account enough for you and you just feel it's the perfect way? Is it the right amount of money to manage?
First of all, it's amazing. FTMO giving allowing people to have $400,000 account if they know how to trade, of course. But for now, I'm feeling okay with $100,000 account, and also the profit is really good.
Uh-huh.
It's a big account. It's a larger account. I could never do on my personal. I never have a personal account this size for now. But trading on a 100K account is big for me already. But I'm gonna take it slowly, slow by slow, step by step. Um, I don't want
Okay.
to just jump into. I might take some time and then slowly get used to the numbers.
Okay.
Like so, jumping numbers is not really good for psychology as well. Seeing the big numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, of course, I will try to get the max 400K account
Okay. You just don't
in
want
the
to rush
future.
it unnecessarily.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's
Now
right.
a question that I give pretty much to everyone, and that is, what would be your advice to the people watching this video and maybe, thinking about starting their first FTMO challenge, or generally people that are new to trading, right? You've been trading for like almost 4 years. You got some experience. Obviously, you got the results. So, what will be your advice to the newbies in the industry?
So I would say for the newbies, just find good education first when it comes to trading, and don't think too much about investing money on the education part. Get educated well, and also use a proper risk management. And before you start any challenge, test your strategy and make sure that's a profitable strategy. If you can do 100 trades and test it and check the profitable if it's being profitable or not.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just come into the challenge and just trying to make a quick money or get rich quick mindset, and then just blow up accounts. You don't want to do that. I would say just get ready before you, like getting ready to the exam before the exam comes. Like you study hard and then you go over and over again, and that's how you go to the exam. That's how you should be doing a challenge. And also, the FTMO is just being really helpful for the traders who can't afford to have a bigger account. So they know how to trade, but they don't have the funds to trade. So I'm really thankful, and I will also recommend people to join the FTMO and do the challenge only after they test their strategy, and then if they can trust this works, and if they have a proper plan, and they should definitely go with FTMO.
Okay. Nice, thank you. So I think we can actually summarize this in 3 points. The first one will be get educated. Then make sure your strategy is properly backtested before you start trading it on the FTMO challenge or on the FTMO account
Yeah,
or even on your live account. Doesn't really matter. And the third one is keep your psychology on point. Right? Do not do any
yeah,
stupid emotional decisions. Stick to the plan. And I guess if you can combine these 3 points together, you're on a very good way to become a profitable trader.
that's correct. That's all you need.
All right,
That's
that's
all you need.
nice.
Money is just a byproduct.
Perfect.
It's a
Yeah, I
bonus.
mean, in the end, it is pretty simple, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Okay.
It is.
Well, Sajith, thank you so much for being here today. It was a real pleasure to talk to you. And if you have any last words, anything you would like to say to the world out there, now's your time.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to do for the interview first of all, and also giving us the opportunity to have those funds. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, that's pretty much
Yeah,
it. And that's
yeah.
FTMO.